Hey guys, just finished watching Arrow, Season 6, Episode 14, Collision Course. This episode was really interesting, dealing with the whole teams, two teams going together. I'm not sure if I was kind of really excited for this episode or kind of not excited for this episode because the whole storyline between the two teams going at each other, it doesn't really super excite me, but at the same time, it's not completely annoying, but it's just kind of like, it is what it is. I'd prefer something else. I'd rather the team just be together and kind of move on, hurry up and get past this stuff. I don't really like the storyline between the two teams fighting each other. But for what it was a good episode. It was okay. It was really well done the way they did it. So let's jump into the stuff. There, the Star City's out of money. They're running out of money. They can't pay hospitals and schools and all that stuff. They're going to run out of money. So they. They're out of the $70 million that Kid and James took from them, and then Black Siren took for them and stuff. So that's really cool with that. You find out that Quentin Land actually has Black Siren in lockup, and that was quite interesting with that, dealing with that storyline, with how he really wants to redemption for Black Siren. And I find it interesting that they feel like they take a really big leap in this episode to redeem her. But it's interesting to see the way they play with that. So yeah, and then we have Wild Dog puts a bug on Oliver. Oliver is willing to let Black Siren go in order to get the money, but that never ends up happening. And then the Outsider team are kind of terrible at following them. I call them the Outsider team: the Curtis, Black Siren, Black Canary, and Mr. Terrific, Black Canary, and Wild Dog team. Call them the Outsiders. I don't know what else to call them, but they're following them in their van, and it was like they're like literally one car length away, and it's like, well, it's one other van looks exactly like ours. Clearly that's them. It was just terrible the way they were trying to, oh damn it, we were spotted and all that stuff. And it was like, are you even trying to hide from them? I mean, use a different type of car, something, they're not even trying to follow them secretly. And then Felicity found the bug on Oliver type thing. It was kind of a terrible scene, the way they did that. It wasn't like they were trying to hide from them at all. And then we get Lance that wants to leave and start a new life with Black Siren because he sees his daughter in her and stuff. And then Curtis goes as far as to hacking into Diggle's arm, which is interesting with that, playing with that, see how that's going to affect things from here on out. I'm not sure if Felicity's going to be able to fix that 100% for next episode. That'll be cool to see that. And then Felicity even gets shot when she jumps in front of Wild Dog during the ending confrontation at the end. Black Siren gets away in the confusion, and Wild Dog gets hurt when Oliver kicks him into the tree and stuff, and reopens a wound that he had, his shot when he got shot a few episodes ago. And then Black Siren loses her memory at the end of the episode. That's where it's really going to be interesting to see where things go with that, the whole losing her memory, and I was kind of like thinking about the whole idea of kind of redeeming her and stuff, and I really didn't like the idea of redeeming her because what's the point, if you watch, if you skip this entire season and a little bit of last season, and you watch the death of her, how is she just going to come up and replace Laurel Lance? Like, I don't want her to just come on and replace Laurel Lance. Otherwise, it makes the whole, Laurel is dead thing moot and type thing. It's kind of, it rewrites the death, and that's why I don't really get that, why they want to do that. Having her come back as a villain keeps the actress around, but it's a whole new character, it's a different character, and that's really interesting to play with that. Now, if she becomes good again, then she's going to take up the shoes, and if you didn't know that Laurel is dead, and, you're only watching bits and pieces, you left before Laurel died, and then you come back, and then all of a sudden Laurel's back just in a different costume, but still good, then it's like you never knew what's missing. I don't know, I just find it weird that they're going to go back and retread what they're doing, and then it just takes the death that we had of Laurel and kind of wipes it away and pushes it away and makes it moot and all that stuff. So that's why I really don't like the idea of bringing Black Siren back. Now, the way they're doing it here seems a little interesting, better than just kind of Black Siren becoming good again. It looks like she's losing her memory type thing, and obviously Quentin's probably going to be the person to find her again, and maybe that'll be set up the more the redemption side storyline, where he's going to raise her or kind of bring her back to something he likes, the way he likes to do that. And I think that's really going to be interesting to see how that plays off, especially if she has amnesia or something like that because she's losing so much blood that she's losing her memory, and then Quentin finds her and then he tries to make her good and stuff. She stays good for a bit, and then all of a sudden she realizes, oh, I'm not the real Laurel. I'm not this person, because he's pretending. Maybe Quentin gets her, and he kind of tells her, oh yeah, you're my daughter. You're not from a different Earth. You're from this Earth, and all that stuff. And he doesn't remember. She doesn't remember anything. Now, it is unclear whether or not at the end there she kind of remembers, if she remembers being from a different Earth or not. Because she did say she remembered, last thing she remembered was getting, it was 2 years ago she got taken hostage. So I guess she knows it's 2 years have gone by. But I mean, if she knows 2 years ago she got taken hostage by Zoom and all that stuff, then maybe she knows that she's evil type thing, and she kind of wasn't taken hostage by Zoom, but she was just kind of, brought on board type thing. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see where things go with all this, and how that's going to play off with the whole like Black Siren redemption storyline. I think that's really going to be cool to play with it this way, just because I think having with the whole like memory loss thing, it could be all of a sudden she could Quentin could convince her that he's her Laurel, she's her Laurel, she's his Laurel, and all that stuff from this, and all that stuff, and then she gets hit in the head again, and things start coming back, or things start getting back as she gets better, and that's where she kind of realizes, you've been lying to me, and all that stuff, and that's where things are gonna kind of blow up in his face, and when she starts figuring things out that she was evil and going back to her evil ways. So I think that could be a cool storyline to play on. So yeah, all in all, that looks kind of interesting to see the way they go with that, because it's not her actually becoming redeemed. She just has amnesia type thing, and that's really going to be cool to see how that plays on. And then it's going to be interesting to see what things happen with the whole like team versus the two teams split up. And I keep on thinking that I really wish that Barry comes around, and maybe have Barry or someone over from the Flash. Maybe they could make a cameo, or keep the fight all the way up, keep the separation of these two teams all the way up until next season's crossover. Then the crossover happens where everyone needs to come together, because there's aliens, there's whatever, there's Crisis on Infinite Earth X type thing, something so big. The crossovers are always so big that it takes that to bring the team back together. And I think that is where I really want this whole team split up to go. Even though I said I really don't like the idea where of splitting the teams, but if things have gone so far at this point that I would want it to stay separated, keep the team separated going into next season, and then next season's mid-season crossover with all the other shows, Legends, Supergirl, and Flash, have that be the point where they get some outside opinions from the Legends team, they get an outside opinion on their fight from Supergirl, from the Flash team, all that different stuff. I think it would be really cool to see their opinion, different people's opinion on the story. I mean, maybe you can have a one-liner scene, where in between the commercial breaks, they've explained the whole situation to everyone, and then you get Barry's opinion on the story, you get Supergirl's opinion on the story. I think that's really going to be cool to see the different sides of each storyline, and see, what does Barry Allen think about this? What does Supergirl think about this? Heck, I would even like to see what was Martian Manhunter's opinion on this fight, and whose side would they pick, because it was very well done in this episode how they made us feel, for both sides of the story. You never really felt for one, or kind of was on either side. You see both sides of the story type thing, and I get where things are going. The only thing that everyone was obviously against was the whole Black Canary and Dinah kind of wanting to kill Laurel and all that stuff. But other than that, you were pretty much on both sides. So I think it would be really cool to see what does Barry think about that, what does Cisco think about that, and have people on the team of during the story, have people on the Flash be both sides. Maybe Barry is on Oliver's side, and Cisco's on the Curtis side, or something like that, or different things like that. And maybe Carl's on the Curtis side, and what's his face, or vice versa type thing, and mix things up and get the different opinions. And I think it would be cool to see the kid together when they go to the mid-season crossover next year, having Barry, Kara, and Ray from the Legends, Sarah from the Legends, all these different people, Rip Hunter, all this different stuff, have all that put together and become like part of the whole, have them all come together and be able to kind of show the team that yes, all this is good and all, but it's not worth your fight. This whole setup is not worth the splitting of your team. So I think it's where things are really going to be cool to go. I hope things go that long and they really stretch this out to that point. Now at the same time, I don't know what, I think it'd be a long wait to keep on getting the same storyline like this. The team staying split until that. I don't see that happening because it'd be a long time. But if if the two teams get their own two storylines separately going to some places and doing their own thing, maybe that could be cool to see that. We'll have to wait and see where they do it. It's just keep on seeing them butt heads all the time until then. Might be boring and stuff. Maybe a long road to there. But that's the way I would do it, and I think you could get a really good moment of Barry, Supergirl, whatever, one of those guys, or even all of those other guys, convincing the whole team that, hey, at the end of the crossover, they sit them down and say, hey, you guys need to settle this up right now, and everything's being fixed up right now. Because I could see they need an outside source to kind of get some opinions on that and where things are going to go with that. And I think that would be really cool, and I feel like the Barry is definitely the person, or Carl could be the person to do that. Even having Sarah Lance's opinion with involving Black Siren and all that stuff, she would have an interesting opinion because she has a connection to Black Siren with her looking like her sister, but she hasn't been around to do all this stuff. She doesn't hang out with Black Siren. She's met Black Siren once during one episode on Legend, but that was it. She hasn't really known Black Siren as well as everyone else does, and what does Sarah think about all that? Does Sarah think that it's her sister? There's some light in there, which is think the same idea as Quentin thinks, which should be on that same path, or would she have a total different opinion than Quentin? How would things work with that? I think that would really be cool to see Sarah's opinion on all this stuff and see everyone's different opinion on all these different things going on. So I think it could be really cool to see that. I think it would be quite interesting to see. I mean, heck, even you get Jay Garrick's opinion would be cool if he's part of the crossover next year, which that would be cool as if he was. Get his opinion, someone completely separate, who doesn't know Oliver whatsoever and doesn't know any of them, but just opinion on the situation on the face of them. Someone who doesn't know Oliver, doesn't know anyone on the Arrow side, just would hear the whole story from an outsider's perspective, and I think that could be cool to get that storyline there. Or heck, even do doppelgangers and get if they do doppelgangers at one point, get doppelganger version of Maura Crean or Oliver's father. I think that could be a cool storyline to see if we get something like that. So all in all, we think it's going to be cool to see where things go with this, and I definitely can't wait to see where things go, but I would like to see this resolved within the crossover next year. I think that could be cool to do that. It would get a great moment, great speech from one of these characters, and it would resolve everything, and I think it'd be really cool to see that. So yeah. Then we got the trailer for next week's episode, which obviously looks like Roy's back. We've been teasing that for a while. We got some photos, and the title is Doppelganger, which is very interesting to see. Like, obviously it's Roy's back, but it's titled Doppelganger, so it's like, is this really our Roy's? Is it a doppelganger version of Roy? Who knows where things are going with that? Maybe they're setting up. I mean, the doppelganger could have involved, could be involving Laurel, Black Siren, but at the same time, if let's say if Quentin just picks her up and everything's back to normal, then why is it going to be called Doppelganger if the story's about Roy and she's just sitting in a hospital the whole episode, because Laurel is supposedly dead. She was a Black Siren, she was a Black Canary, and everyone knew about that. They even made the monument after her when she died in last season. So now that if it comes out publicly that, oh my God, Laurel Lance is alive, are they going to explain to everyone that, Laurel Lance is a doppelganger from someone from a different Earth? How are they going to explain that? How are they going to prove that to the world type thing? And instead of, oh my God, Laurel Lance is alive now, what's going on? Like, that's really going to be cool to see where things go with that. But at the same time, why would they title the episode that if maybe at the beginning of the episode there's a big thing where she's all over the press and there's all kinds of press around her in her hospital room saying, oh my God, Laurel Lance is alive, she's in the hospital. But if she's just going to spend the whole time in the hospital, why would they title it Doppelganger, and where they're going to go with this Roy Harper storyline? So all in all, it could be cool to see where things go with this. Definitely can't wait to see how things continue on, but really I'm excited to see where things go with Roy Harper, and hopefully he can come back to a season regular or something like that for next season. But just fingers crossed. Let me know what you think, guys, in the comments below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
I'm Captain America, here to talk to you about one of the most valuable traits a soldier or student can have.
Subscribing.
Sometimes is the key to victory. Sometimes it leads to very little, and it seems like it's not worth it. And you wonder why you waited so long for something so disappointing. How many more of these?
You're still here.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Peace.
It's over.